welcome back to my bench. After much fiddling around and measuring and getting out calipers and things, I decided to go ahead and measure the parts I needed to make these. This is the cable that goes between the Yaesu FT757 GX and the Yaesu FC757 AT auto tuner. These things are tough to find. So I said the parts have got to be available. They just have to be. They cannot be made out of unobtainium. So I did. I found the parts. The first part that goes on this end right here is a DigiKey number 455-1902-ND. Basically, it's just a XHP-8 connector. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus. It's right there. That's all it is. Does not come with plugs, or you know, the things that go in the holes. You have to buy those. Damn. And those are these little guys. I bought 100 of them because, well, shoot, they're like 1 cent a piece. These are the little connectors that go into these holes here with wires on them. And these are 455-1135-1-ND, SHX-001T-P0.6 connector term crimp XH22 to 28 AWG, because that's the kind of wire I got. On the other end of this cable is just this little Molex plug. And this is a WM136-ND. And it's just this. Come on, focus. It's a little female Molex plug. That's all it is. It's not exactly perfectly identical to this one, but I am absolutely sure it'll work. There, right there on the ends. See, here's the one that's already made up. Here's this one. It's got the little dents in the right spots, and it's the right number of pins, and they're the right size, and it comes without the wings on the sides, which so did this one. And then the plugs, or the little connectors that go inside of here, are WM1001-ND. Manufacturer's part number is 02-06-1103. I'll put these down at the bottom of the video. Connector term, or con term female 18 to 24 gauge in this case, tin. Because that's all they had at the time. I'm sure people have seen these. They're pretty ubiquitous in connector land. Alright, so we got those, and then this thing uses 7 wires. So I went all out and bought this 7-wire cable. This was the most expensive part of it. It's a pretty good cable. And it was a T1348-5-ND. Manufacturer's part number was 30-00513. Cable, 7 conductor, 24 gauge, black, 5 meters of it. And it wasn't terribly expensive. Well, the whole mess was like 40 bucks. But I got enough of these to do like 10 of them each. and this cable was the most expensive thing. I decided to spring for some nice, reasonably flexible cable. It's not as flexible as this, but it's pretty good. So we're going to make one and then see if it works. Soldering iron on. Crimp tool, don't own one. Not one of those anyway. So we'll be using the manual crimp tool. Now, this one I can't really. This is a original, came from the factory, and I really can't get this off of here because it's all glued. This is that heat shrink tubing that has glue on the inside. As you can tell down here, it is very well sealed. I really can't get this off, but we're going to have to ohm it out one at a time. And we're going to do this end first, quite frankly, because it's bigger. And here's my knife. All right. And I'm going to need, let's not be non-wasteful here. Yeah, I know. You're going to cut into the wire. I've been doing this for 40 some odd years. I'm pretty good at it. Yeah, pretty colored wires. Look at that. Okay. It's also why I ordered this, because they're pretty colored wires, and so are these. And I figured, what the heck, we'll just match up the wire colors. Now you'll notice on this one, if you look real close, some of these wires, like this one on this end, appears to be, it is covered in heat shrink, about, I don't know, half an inch of it. And there's another one right here the same way. And I thought, well, what, did they put something in there, like a diode or a resistor? So I cut it back a little bit and looked at it. Nope, there's nothing in there. It's just a straight wire. So don't have to attach anything. So what we got to do, let's put this stuff off to the side because I don't need this right now. Take our ohmage meter here and find out where these wires go. We'll start with the one on the white one on this end. I got the meter set up to beep. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but we'll find the white one. No. Right there. Okay, so the white one is going to be top center right there. Yes. All right. So what we do is we take one of these little guys, take the white wire. Now, I'm going to cut these off a little bit in length because I really don't need that much. I'm not going to make life miserable on myself here and set these up like piano wire. String them like piano wire so that they're not, I'm just going to give them a little bit of play. And we're going to find out how much we need to strip. This is how you do these things. You unmate them first because they're seriously stuck together. Okay. You take your wire, you stick it in the hole to there, put your fingernail back right here where you are, where the end of it is, because you got two crimp spots. You've got this little crimp spot here and the big crimp spot back here. So what you do is you take this out of here, you actually go just like that much. I know that's not a precise measurement, nothing is, and then you strip that off. I use just wire cutters to strip wires. Yes, every once in a while I'll cut a wire shorter than I want to, but 99.999% of the time I don't. But that takes some practice. if you want, do I even own a pair still? Maybe. Yes. You can use these. The box said that this stuff was 24 gauge. Guess what? We don't have a 24 in here. We got 20 to 22. Well, if you got some, you can use them. I don't. I haven't. Oh, wait. I got these guys. Here we go. Here. How about these? These have, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I think A is 24. Let's take one and find it. I guess it would have cost too much to stamp the actual gauge wire size in here. Well, let's try this. No. Yeah, it'll work. So the A, or the flat side, is 24. Who cares? All right, so basically now we've got this thing that will go in there like that with the let's see if I can show you this. It'll go in there like that with the rubber on the outside on the end where the big crimper part is. Well, this is hard to do sideways. I'm looking at my phone. Okay. What in the world? Okay. Hello. Okay. Where the big part is, you put the wire up to there, and it goes over the coating, and then the base wire, the plain wire goes down inside where you crimp that little two small pieces together, and then you crimp the big pieces over the rubber part. But first, you tin it. Tinning, for those of you that don't know, basically means just solder the ends so that it doesn't come apart on you. I messed with this a little bit showing you, but it's still there. So now that's tinned. The wire is just, see? Oh, guys, tinned. Why can I not figure out, there we go. I gotta look at the camera. So that's wired as tinned. So now we take our little thing here. We put it up to there. Yeah, this wire is not heat resistant, so I got to cut off a little because when I heated it up, it went back some. That happens. So we put it up to there. Make sure that your rubber end here is actually inside where those the big crimps are going to be, and then you crimp the little ones. There's a tool for this. I don't have it. You crimp the little ones over the bare wire, squeeze down pretty good. Then you take that, put it in your little helping hand thingy, like that. These are very handy. Get one if you don't have one. Solder it in there so it's good. It's in. And then you undo it and you crimp this one over the top. So when you're done, you come out with something that looks like that, or as close as you can get. Well, that capture program doesn't work for hoots. That one does. Came with Windows. All right. So then I got to do all 7 of these guys. So I'll do these. I'm not going to bore you with that for an hour and a half, and I'll be back when I get these done, and then we'll put them into the tube, and then we'll go on to the next one. We'll be back. Okay, so there we go. We've got, wasn't that riveting? We've got all of these in here, all these on, and we know that this one goes on this top center. Now, the way these go in, and that's what you have to, one thing you have to be careful when you are doing these and soldering and mashing around with them is, well, those little wings go into here, into this hole, and go down about, just about halfway down there, or about that far from the front, and those little wings will pop out, and that's what holds them inside of here, and they're very tight. There is a tool that you can buy that's just a little bit bigger than this the roundness of this, that slides over the front of it, through the hole in the front, over the front of it, meshes down the wings a little bit, and lets you pull it out without ruining everything. I have one of those at work. I don't have one here. Now I lost which one of these things I'm supposed to go to. So let's see. Let's start at someplace convenient. Top. No, let's start at the bottom left as I'm looking at it and find out which one that is. Okay, so the bottom. Okay. Wait a minute. Got to get this around because it's keyed. There's a little key up here. Those two are empty. So let's start at the top right. Okay, top right. No. Aha. The top right one is the orange one. So do we have orange on here? Yes. Haha. We have orange. We may have to fiddle with the colors a little bit because it I didn't bother to look. So here, I'll show you. When I put this in here, you take it and you push this in from the back, and it'll kind of go click. And once it's in there, see how close it is to the front? Well, it's locked. It ain't coming out because those little wings will hold it right in there. All right, so that's the top right, and it's orange. What do we... Okay, let's find out where we are now. Let's go to the one next to it. Find out what it is. That wasn't orange. That was red. So I've got, what do I have in this thing? I got brown, red, reddish, yellow. Well, I did yellow. I was looking at it and it didn't. Okay. I'm talking to you and not thinking about what I'm doing, just going on automatic. Yeah, okay, so that's yellow. So the one next to, wow, nothing wrong with me, is basically red. I have no brown in here, so our orange is going to have to be brown. All right, so this one is going to go to the red one. It's clicked in there. The next one over is hello. Come on. It's that one. So it's brown. So that brown is going to be our orange because I have no brown on here. Okay. So that's going to be orange. Remember that. Brown is orange. Okay. That's the one. Now this one's empty. We go to this center pin here. That one is blue. We have a, not a great blue, but a blue. Okay, so that's printed in the center. You're probably never going to get cable with exactly the same colors. There is a standard for these things, by the way, and it's the same as your resistor code standard most of the time. Just like everything else most of the time. You got the, black, brown, red, orange, yellow, blue, green. I remember it. Bad boys. The way I was taught in the service, bad boys rape our young girls, but Violet gives willingly. That's why I learned it. I know they teach you stuff when it's associated with sex, and you won't forget. Okay, but the wires are, some wire codes are exactly the same. Even the ones that have like 2 stripes on them. You'll start with a black wire with a brown stripe, which would be, the black wire, brown being 1, and then red, and then black red would be 2, and then black orange would be 3. So it just goes that way. And then your next set of wires would be a brown wire with a red stripe next, and they just keep going up that way. So the problem with that is sometimes when you're sitting behind a rack, you've got 6 bundles of wires this big around with 300 pairs in each wire. Somebody decides that it's really fun if they just barely color the wires dark enough red or dark enough brown or dark enough blue for you to actually see it. They're almost transparent. Trust me, I've been there. That's fun. All right, so this one over here. This one. Yeah, I just have something to talk about. This is such a riveting thing. Okay, that one is gray. Yeah, gray. This gray is gray-green. I am kind of colorblind in a very strange sort of way. There we go. When you mash these things down on the ends here, on these little big tabs, come on. On the big tabs there that you see, when you mash those down sideways, you can't actually fold them way over, because if you do, they won't fit in the holes in the back. So you got to be careful about that. All right, so that's that way. Okay, this is yep. That one is white. So white goes to this center one here. Yep. This was our first one. That's what I mean. You really, if you mash those down too much, they won't go back in the holes. I was lucky I got that. If you've got the tool, that won't happen. And then I wonder where the black one goes. Is there black in this mess? No. That's interesting. What color? There's only one color left. And that color is sort of a slate gray. Okay. So black's going to be slate gray. And that goes over here. Really doesn't matter what color the wires are. It's not going to confuse the electrons if the negative run down a red wire. It's just to try to keep things common. All right, so we'll take this, and this seems to be a pretty good length. I don't think there's any real reason for this length, but it seems to be a pretty good length. So we'll chop it off about the same length, which is right about there. Yes, I know you shouldn't use really good nippers for that, but yeah, okay. Don't yell at me, it's my show. Okay. These hurt. Boy, they're sharp little things. Okay. Now these, of course, being much smaller, are much finickier. and they're not nearly as forgiving as these big giant things are. Camera, did you disconnect? Yep. Alright, so now we've got these little guys that go into this little guy. This will be fun. This one we can just copy here from this end. And remember, orange is brown and black is the slate gray. Mustn't forget that. These guys are a pain. They are just hooked onto here, basically, if you can see that. They're just, whoa, hooked on there, and they bend to break off, and they've got one little crimp joint where you put them over and solder them on. That's it. So you need a good little pair of needle nose pliers. Don't forget to put your heat shrink on before you put the cable connector on the other end. What kind of size do we need here? I may not have a, I don't know if I got a big enough piece for that. If not, I can always tape it. This big enough? Wow, no. That's one size bigger than I have. I think these are all the same size in here. These are smaller. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to have to tape it. But I can do that later. Meanwhile, what have I got here that'll go over the end of this? Yes. And it's a pretty... That's just regular. This stuff has the glue in it. I think I'll use this. We are not going to heat this up until we test it, of course. Never put the screws back into the box until you test the thing, because Murphy says you did something wrong. Guaranteed. Okay, there. Take you, slide you over there. That's perfect. Maybe a little bit too small, but it'll work. Okay. That'll potentially slide nicely up over like that. Okay. Alrighty. These are great. You can get thousands of these things off eBay for next to nothing. Are they the best heat shrink in the world? No. Do they work? Yes. Okay. So let's get busy on this thing here. So you break this off. I suppose this was meant to go through some sort of a machine. Let's get this end down here. They did about that much. Up another piece. Almost pulled another stupid one. I got two ends. We want two pieces of heat shrink. This one over there. Get him far away from the heat. Yep, okay. And get out this thing. Cut him back about that far. Okay. Good enough. Nope, no nicks. Like I said, you do this for 40 years, and you only make the occasional stupid mistake. I made lots more than the occasional stupid mistake in my life. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave myself a little more room because I got to fan these guys out. We'll start with the white one again, and I'll show you how these things go on here. strip back. Now, because these things are so teensy tiny, see, right there, you don't strip much wire back. It just goes in there like that, and you crimp down the big side now. You put it inside there, and then you crimp down the big tabs on it, and that's the only thing that holds that until you solder it. So we do our tinning. Here we go. We take our little guy here, and you got to make sure, oh, these do have doubles. They're just so small you can't see them. Okay, you got to make sure that your wire now is not up inside of there. As a matter of fact, there's actually a little stop where the pressure comes down. So these have got to be even shorter. I'm talking that big. Let's measure that just for the heck of it. I didn't look it up in the manual. So I got 2 millimeters. See if that's about the right size. You can't be up against, there's a little tiny flap in there that the post pushes against. If you can see it. No, come on. There, that the post pushes against, so you cannot have this wire under that, or the post will not push down and lock it in. However, these guys, they actually stop you. That's kind of cool. I've not seen that before. There's a little stop on the back of that thing that will keep you from going any farther, and it looks like 2 millimeters is just about perfect. And so we squeeze it shut here. Can I do it with this pair? These things got no oomph on the end. There. I got it. Well, it's in there, sort of. Get our little helping hand guy here. Wow, no, I didn't. These are a serious pain. Okay, it's in there. See, we all learn as we do. Solder. Don't over solder, because if you do, you got to stop it from doing its thing. And then we squeeze down these little guys on the outside. Make sure they're round. And that's what we end up with. If you can see it. Come on, focus. That's it. Come on. That's the whole dealie right there. Wow. Okay. And then basically that just slides in there. So I'm going to go through and do the rest of these, and I'll probably record it and fast forward it, because like I did the last set. But I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so there's that. That's finicky. Go away. Get away from the live AC. Okay. So we got all these connected down here. All of these, and they got to go into there. Come on, focus. All right, they go into the square end of this thing. If you can see it. Come on, there we go. And then that's where the pins go on the other side that plug into the back of the radio. So we've got these little catches up here. They don't function in this particular application, but those little catches that you see will catch onto a plug if it goes inside of a plug. These don't go inside of a plug, they just go into freestanding pins in the back. So with those up, our first wire is brown, which would be our orange. Okay. You, with our little latches up, these go well, they only go in one way, and there's a little notch where they snap in. Okay, so there's a little tab, if you can see it, there's a little dent right there. Well, this little piece, there's a little tiny sliver that sticks out the back right there. That goes into that little tiny dent, and you push them in. I think. Or is that upside down? Like I said, you'll know if you get it right. It slides right in, goes click. No, okay, so that is right. That little dent goes right down there. And you take a little tiny screwdriver. And this is where you got to be really sure that that little shoulder I was telling you about back here, you cannot have that sticking out too much, because if you do, the whole thing will not go into this hole. It's, to say the least, fiddly. There. So that's in there, and it's held in good and tight. Okay? So, our next one is red. Make sure my little back set of clamps is clamped down good so it'll fit in the hole. Stick it in there and shove it. Get it in it, locked in there. The next one is yellow. Try to get these things a little bit organized here. Yeah, that one, it looks like it'll do fine without any extra clamping. There we go. That's in there too. The next one is whatever that slate gray is, which I believe was black. Just to check, because the slate gray, the slate gray and the green look an awful lot like each other. So that would be this one here. The black one goes to, no. Okay, so that's the green. I'm glad I didn't do that. That's this grayish green colored thing. I presume they meant that to be green. Well, it is green, I guess. It's me. I can't see for squat. Okay. That's in there. Okay. And our next one is blue. Got to hold your tongue just in the right spot. Okay, that one's in there. Then we skip one, and we have the black one. And then the white one. Whoops. Yeah, I didn't get that closed quite well enough. This little shoulder on the back here. I think that's good now. They really, seriously are fiddly. Okay. So that went in. Alright, so there we go. We have a cable. Whoops. Wrong way. Okay, so we got ourselves a cable that looks something like this cable. Let's give it a try and see if it works before we go through heat shrinking it. Now, in order to do that, we got to hook it up to that and that. Well, let's pull you over here. And let's see what happens. Turn this off for now. Alright. Moment of truth. Power. The lights came on. Okay, so we'll change bands and see if these guys get the data. We'll go down to 3. It's whirring and whizzing. 3.5, and there it goes. We did it. So it works. Up to 10. It's on 10. And see, yep, found its spot. Okay. There we go. We did it. We built one of those things that are virtually impossible to find. And yes, I have spare parts if somebody needs one. So I'll put down on the bottom of the list what all these are, after the video, what all these parts are. And you can go to DigiKey and get them. I think these were like a penny a piece. These were like, I don't know, 10 cents. These were, I think, more expensive. They were like 14, 15 cents. And these, I think, were less than a penny each on this really aggravating roll that's supposed to go into some machine. The cable, the wire, was 15 bucks, but it's wire. It's 7 conductor, really nice wire, very flexible, and it was about the only one I could get in 5 meter length I didn't feel like spending $300 on a roll of wire for this. But there we go. That's how you do it. So we'll get this thing produced and get it up online. So people that have a Yaesu FT757GX and a FC757AT can make their own unobtainium cable. Cool. Thanks for watching.